self-explanatory, something that you can teach yourself in the process. And I'm going to be suggesting tons and tons of tools you can explore as a teacher, and not just the tools you can explore, but how you can put them into your lesson planning, your lesson delivery, how you can use them. Hello, beautiful educators. Welcome to today's video. I am so happy to have you here. And today we're going to be delving into another professional development session, and we're going to be addressing the topic of technology. That is really, really exciting for me because technology, I would say, is something that affects us all. It's a progressive change in society today, and technology waits for no one. So why don't we take advantage of technology, right? So today's video would specifically address teachers who teach in countries where technology is not really integrated into the educational system yet. And it's not like people don't use technology in these countries. However, when it comes to the educational sector, I would say there isn't enough tools to effectively integrate digital learning. So for today's video, I'm going to be teaching you ways you can leverage technology as a teacher in your school, whether or not your institution has provided enough tools for technology. You know, I love this quote a lot, be the change you want to see. And the reason I love it is that it motivates you to take that first step. You wouldn't wait for the government or for your school to provide all the tools you need, or wait for your students to have all the tools they need before you start leveraging technology. So what is this class for? This class is specifically going to walk you through the process of using technological tools in your classroom to improve the classroom experience, both for yourself and for your students. It's going to make teaching way easier for you, way more fun, faster, and for the students it's going to be very interesting for them too, because they're used to one pattern, the same thing, every teacher coming in to do the same thing. But imagine bringing in something different, maybe through your teaching method, instructional materials, and a lot more. We have a lot to explore in this topic, so let me not exhaust everything in this short intro. But if you're new to this channel, I'm going to encourage you at this point to like this video, subscribe, and I'm telling you ahead of time because I know that it is value packed. You wouldn't be regretting it. So sit tight and watch the video till the end. And if you're an educator, I'm going to encourage you to really be patient and watch this video to the end, because I'm not going to only talk about all the things you need to learn, but I'm going to go ahead to bring it down to the basic tools you need, even if you teach in a rural setting, a rural community where technology is at the lowest, right? So let's get into this video and I'll see you at the end. Okay, our topic for today is level up your teaching profession with simple tech tools. You know how I said you should be the change you want to see, right? That's what this topic is going to walk you through. So it will help you see ways you can bring in technology in delivering your professional activities, your professional duties as a teacher. So hang on tight and let's see what we have for you today. I'm going to emphasize this word simple. These are things that would not take you too much. This is something that would be self-explanatory, something that you can teach yourself in the process. And I'm going to be suggesting tons and tons of tools you can explore as a teacher, and not just the tools you can explore, but how you can put them into your lesson planning, your lesson delivery, how you can use them. So a little bit about me. I'm Uzama Mavis, and My professional experience covers education, writing, speaking, coaching, and mentorship. And for my contact information, that's where you can get details about me or reach out to me or chat with me. These are the few ways you can contact me. Then let's move over to my lesson outline for today. So for today, what we'll be exploring is a lot. So we'll be starting with the introduction, and every lesson starts with an introduction, obviously. We'll be exploring the evolution of technology in education so that we understand what we are up against and why we are doing what we're doing today and why it's so important. So we'd also talk about traditional learning versus technology learning. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to address how you can use technological tools even in rural areas. Most times in countries where, let's say, technology is not fully integrated into the educational system, traditional learning is explored way more than technology learning. So we're going to do a comparison of what traditional learning has to offer versus what technology learning brings into the picture so that you see the reasons why you should just make this effort I'm motivating you to make today, right? So the next, I'm going to tell you about my personal experience, my growth as a tech-savvy teacher. I've seen it all. I've been in an environment where I was a traditional teacher. I've had a digital classroom experience. I've had a full-time online classroom experience. And in all of these, I've seen a consistent growth in terms of my knowledge of technology. And that's the reason I want to share this with other teachers so that you can also take advantage of this class and improve on yourself as well. The role of technology in teaching is going to be the next thing we explore. We're going to just explore what technology means to the teaching profession and let's say what role will it play in the teaching profession? How does it help the teaching profession? Then the next, we're going to talk about the problem. And the problem here refers to the problem teachers face in countries where technology is not like very integrated into the system. So the next is we're going to be talking about the tools, and this is my favorite part. I listed tons of tools, technological tools you can take advantage of and use in your teaching experience. So I made a list of lots and lots of tools. I would say both advanced tools and basic tools at this point. But moving on, I made a little bit of a change where I narrowed everything down to the basic tools you need in case you're teaching in a rural community or you're teaching in a place with limited technological tools which you can use. So the next one would have a group activity. Okay, so I forgot to mention that this was a Zoom class when I did it. You know how it is with my professional development sessions. We start off with a Zoom class, and if you can make it to the Zoom class, then we can chat real time. We can explore things real time, right? But if you were unable to make it to my Zoom class, then you have to watch on YouTube. And at this point, you can attempt the group activities on your own. Then the next is we're going to talk about how to apply the tools into effective use. And the tools I'm talking about are the tools we talked about here. We're going to talk about how we can put them into effective use. And after this, I talked about the basic tools you'll be needing if you teach in a rural community. I was very specific with that. I didn't list it in the outline, but right after this, you have that. Then after that, we're going to talk about the benefits of technology for teachers and students, and we'll go ahead and summarize, talk about the future of learning, and we'll have our Q&A. The Q&A will be in the comment section, so feel free to like this video, drop your comments with any questions you have. Then I'm going to guide you through the process of exploring the links and resources you need to learn more about how to use all of these things and also see resources that can help you to integrate technology into your teaching. So this is a value-packed class. Like I'm super excited about it already. So let's move on. Okay, so for the introduction, let's talk about the evolution of technology in education. Technology is a powerful tool in today's society. It has transformed the way teachers teach and the way students learn by giving access to different ways of communicating and working together. Indeed, technology has changed the way teachers teach and the way students learn. It has helped for things like distant learning. It has helped with flexibility. It has helped to see that the teaching process is in alignment with the growth of society in every aspect. You understand? I would always go back to social media. You know how social media is a big thing in this day and age. So if we live in an age of social media and we stick to traditional learning, what do you think is going to happen? There'll be a decline. If students are spending lots of time on their phones, their gadgets, and all of that, then we should bring teaching to them through those devices as well. We can't sit back and let them get, will I say, distracted. So technology is really very influential in today's society, and as a result, the teaching profession should also adjust to that evolution, to that change. Okay, let's see the difference between traditional learning and technology learning. So for traditional learning, we have physical learning materials and tools. We have pens, whiteboards, blackboards as well for some schools, and limited access to educational materials and information. So in a traditional learning environment, if you're not getting books from the library, then you're not getting books anywhere. Apart from it, we also have physical learning materials. Everything has to be held, touched, and all of that. So there is a little bit of a limitation to the things you can explore. But let's go over to technology learning. There's a wider access to educational materials, more channels and tools available for communication and collaboration, and it allows for personalized types of learning. I would say that technological learning appeals to the different types of learners. You know, when they say audio learners, visual learners, and all of that, when it comes to technology learning, it's easier for teachers to appeal to the different types of learners they have in their classroom. There's also wide access to educational materials because, come on, there are lots and lots of materials online on Google, on the different search engines we have, even on YouTube, on social media. If you seek educational materials, you will get educational materials. So sometimes social media is not all about the chatting, the playing, and all of that. It depends on your own interests. So if you should, let's say, be specific about what you want, you'd get exactly what you need. So there's wider access to educational materials, more channels and tools available for communication and collaboration. Hey, just for example, Zoom classes, it helps us to communicate better, collaborate better. We have Microsoft Teams, we have Google Meet, we have lots and lots of tools, even Canvas, the Canvas classroom that helps with digital learning. So the possibilities are endless. Next, technology learning allows for personalized types of lessons for students. And I'll say this is also very important because sometimes it's not convenient for you at a particular time to learn, and it's convenient at another time. So when it comes to technology learning, it allows you to learn at your own pace in situations where, let's say, you're taking a full-time online class and you know that you can't meet up with physical classes probably because of work and all of that. Technology helps you. If you are that person that is worried about that, technology gives you the chance to learn from the comfort of your home and still learn effectively. That's, I would say, the happiest part of it. You don't just learn and there's a limit to your understanding and all of that. The tools are endless. There are so much that you have a full experience of learning. So let's go over to the next slide. My growth as a tech-savvy educator. I like this slide because it just speaks to my experience as a tech-savvy educator. And I would say, like I said, I've seen it all. I know there are more to come, but yeah, I've seen the most of it because I've taught in a traditional classroom, I've taught in a digital classroom, and I've also taught in a full-time online classroom. And my growth in technology has progressed through the years of all my experiences. So I started with teaching a traditional classroom, and then I did have a laptop at some point. I think I had a laptop after I graduated from college. Surprising. For the first time after I graduated from college. And I was teaching in a traditional classroom at the time. So imagine having a laptop and not being able to use it effectively. I remember just using my laptop to type, let's say type a story because I write, or just I was basically using Word documents and probably search engines. And I just did not explore all the things my device could do. And when I think about it now, I would say I wasted a lot of time during those years. I would say I was ignorant and now I know better. And things like this would not repeat itself if I were to turn the hands of time. But I can't turn the hands of time, right? So let me help other people out there. So I would say when I was teaching in a traditional classroom, I was at 10% in terms of technology, leveraging technology in everything I did. I was at 10%. Then I proceeded to teach in a digital classroom for the first time, which was a learning curve for me because it was tough. I remember the first time I had to create a PowerPoint slide and I was confused. I cannot believe that, but I was confused. I had learned creating documents on PowerPoint before, but I would say I forgot most of what I learned because I just learned it. I didn't use it. So fast forward years later, I got to teach in a digital classroom and I couldn't remember what it was like creating a PowerPoint slide. So it didn't take me time to learn anyway. And I also got to learn many more things. That was where I got to use Canvas for the first time. That's the digital classroom. And I got to use my emails more often. I got to communicate better using emails. And a lot more was achieved at this point. But in everything, I would say I learned and I used my my tech savvy level was at 50%. Then I got to teach this year, yeah, sorry, last year, I got to teach a full-time online classroom where I was a writing instructor. And before I started teaching, I remember wondering how it was going to be very effective because my digital classroom was, will I say hybrid? We had our physical time in class and we had our online time in class, like online materials and all of that. But for this, it was fully online. I don't get to see my students. We just talk. We used Canvas and every communication was going through that platform. So I would say at this point, my tech savvy level skyrocketed to 80%. And I put it at 80% because there's more to learn. So it can never be 100%. New things would always come up. So I would say I've learned a lot. I started using more digital tools. I learned a lot more. And it's at this point that I knew people need to learn as well. We need to understand the different tools we can use, even if our schools don't have online classrooms or our schools don't have digital tools, we don't have computer labs with enough computers and all of that. There are ways we can still leverage on technology in teaching. So I think I put this because this I would say is my experience. Technology is not as complicated as it seems when you haven't explored it. This is so true. And that was the experience for me. If I had known what I knew at this point, I would put it into practice here. But at this point, I thought technology was like this big thing you have to learn and learn. But no, technology is so simple. You just need to have an open mind and be ready to learn. Once you're ready to learn, then it's not going to be a difficult experience for you. I would say, in all, just have an open mind. That's all you need. And be ready to like use trial and errors because many apps, no one taught me to use most of the apps I use today. I just opened them and I learned in the process. I explored the tools. They've made things so easy. So if I could have this growth process, then you can have even a faster growth process with this information I'm providing today. So I wish you all the best with that. Let's move on. Yeah, the role of technology in teaching. I've divided the roles of technology in teaching into five broad areas. It can do more, but these broad areas I think covers majority of what technology can achieve in the teaching profession. So the first is enhanced planning, how you plan your lessons before you go to the classroom. The next one is communication between yourself, your students, your colleagues, parents. The next is resource management. I would say technology plays a huge role in managing resources for the classroom. The next is effective teaching and learning. With technology, the teaching and learning process gets even better. Then the final one is professional development. This is something I would always advise every teacher to do. Make sure you get involved in professional development sessions so that you get better and you understand what's in at the moment in your profession. So technology plays a huge role in ensuring that professional development is possible. For example, we're having this class today. This is professional development. And how are we able to achieve this? It's technology. I'm here recording a class, sharing my slides, and posting on YouTube. Then people around the world can watch this and learn more. So technology does a lot for you in the teaching profession. Let's talk about the problem most teachers face. So I would say, you know how I said that this class wants to address teachers who teach in rural communities specifically, and I'm being specific about them because they always have the challenge of not having enough technological tools in their schools or in their workplaces, and they think it's going to make it tough for them to leverage on technology. So what's the problem? I teach in a traditional classroom with barely enough technological tools. How can I leverage technology in this environment? So I know most teachers fall under this category. You probably teach in a school where there isn't a computer lab, or there is a computer lab with very few computers, very few working computers. Or you teach in a school where um, there are challenges with, let's say, electricity, a lot of things that would hinder your effective use of technology? Well, at this point, I would say worry no more, because if you watch this video to the end, I'm going to recommend ways you can use technology regardless of these situations. And I know you might not be able to use all the technological tools I would suggest in the next slide, but I'm going to suggest towards the end of this video the specific tools you can use regardless of any circumstance, whether the school has a laptop or not, whether they have electricity or not, whatever the challenge is, you can still use technology. And I'm going to suggest the basic tools you can use to make learning better and make the experience fun. Okay, now let's talk about the tools. I told you this was my favorite slide because I listed a lot of tools. So I'm going to start from the first one, which is Google Docs. And Google Docs is a tool I love so much because you can have it on your phone and also have it on your laptop. So you can work at any time and it just keeps updating itself. Like it saves automatically, updates itself on the laptop and on the phone. So whenever you're not working on your laptop, you can be working on your phone. And I would say it has helped me a lot because most times I would be working on a document and I'm traveling. I'll just work with my phone. Whenever I go back home and I'm able to hop on my laptop, everything I worked on the phone is on the laptop. So if you have Google Docs, then why not take advantage of it? So even if you don't own a laptop as a teacher, Google Docs is a wonderful tool for you to use on your phone. So far you have a Gmail account, which is something I was going to talk about in point 3. Then so far you have a Google account rather, then you can use Google Docs, you can use Gmail, you can use different things. So why not explore this? The next is notes. So let me assume you've not created a Google account, then use the notes on your phone. Even though I would encourage you to go ahead and open up an account. Then in case you don't have this, you don't have Google Docs, then you should use the notes on your phone. Most smartphones have a notes application where you can take quick notes and all of that. So if you're a teacher, why not leverage on that too? You can at any point in time, wherever you are, quickly note down something that comes to your mind, something that can make your class interesting. You quickly put it down on your notes without waiting till you bring one long notebook with pen and start writing. You can quickly hop on this if you don't have this. So the next one is Google Meet. Okay, I've talked about Gmail. You should have a Gmail account where you can communicate with colleagues, communicate with parents. It's just a professional way to communicate. Instead of like chatting personally, you can use this for professional communication. So that's a good one to have. Then the next one we have Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. These are just platforms where you can have virtual meetings, virtual discussions. You can use it for a lot of things. So I think this is also a very good way to integrate digital learning in your classrooms. So you can, let's say, give an assignment that would require students to work in groups from home. So that way you're teaching them how to use these tools and for academic purposes. Then the next one we have Google Chrome, which is specifically for getting information, browsing, understanding more, things like that. So the next thing I would say you should have is a flash drive. And a flash drive is something I'll say is very important for every teacher. So if you own a flash drive, it will be easier for you to print instructional materials from a cyber cafe in case you don't own a printer. So if you've worked on any design, say on your phone, on your laptop, and you need to print them out, you can use your flash drive to copy that document and go ahead and print it out somewhere. So another thing you can do is if you work on a design, let's say on your phone using, let's say Canva, then you can send it to someone in a cyber cafe through Gmail or through Bluetooth, because I think Bluetooth works for some phones. Then they print it out for you. I'm just trying to say that not having a laptop cannot limit you from using the tools on your phone and having them in hard copy if you need them, let's say, as an instructional material in class. Then the next tool I'm going to talk about is Canva. If you notice, after Canva, we have Canvas. They are two different things. So Canva is an app which you use to create tons of designs. For example, my PowerPoint presentation today was created with Canva. It's a really cool application. I love it a lot. So you can use Canva to create tons and tons of designs, flyers, presentations, YouTube banners, designs. In fact, the possibilities are endless with Canva. It's very good. It's something I'll recommend. And guess what? Canva is a free app. You have the pro version if you want to explore a lot more, but almost everything you get on the pro version, you also get on the free version. So why not take advantage of this? In fact, Canva is so good that you can also print your book on Canva. Like you could write a novel and print it through Canva. Like a very surprising one, right? So the next one is Canvas. Now, I said Canva and Canvas are very different. Canvas is a digital classroom. So it's a digital classroom where you have your courses, you can organize your courses, you can bring in your students, you can make announcements, you can set up Zoom meetings. In fact, this is powerful. Like most times, however, it's being bought by an institution. Then they create accounts for their teachers and all of that. But the good news is you can now have a personal Canva account. Like if you're a teacher, you can create a teacher's account. I think that's what they call it, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You can use it to deliver, let's say, small courses or plan your course ahead of time so that whenever you find yourself in any digital classroom, you can just import your course from what you've created. In fact, Canva is really good. Now we have MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint for creating documents, PowerPoint mostly for presentations, MS Excel mostly for, let's say, your scores and all of that, class list and things like that. Then MS Word just for creating documents like your lesson plan. So MS Word and Google Docs can work with creating your lesson plan. So I don't think I subscribe to teachers always writing their lesson plans like on a paper, like every term you see yourself in fact, a lot of copying. We spend a lot of time writing notes when we can achieve a lot more with that time. So instead of writing on a paper, you can type your lesson plan. And if you need to make adjustments, let's say you want to create a new lesson plan, you copy the previous one. You already have a template, you paste it in a new document and make adjustments so that you don't start afresh. I don't know why we like putting in so much time into things that we can make easier for ourselves. And anyway, sometimes it's tough because for some schools that use digital platforms, I've heard stories whereby the Ministry of Education comes for, let's say, supervision of the school, and they say, no, we're not taking printed lesson plans. We want handwritten lesson plans. I think changes are already being made to that, but I would use this as an opportunity to call on the Nigerian Ministry of Education to make some adjustments and accept technological tools and technological advancements. It's not everything that should be written with pen and paper. We can make adjustments and make it easier for teachers and make it easier for students as well. So if you're a teacher, you don't need to write your lesson plan with your pen and paper every single time. You just have a template. You write your lesson plan, you type your lesson plan online. Wherever you are, you can be writing your lesson plan on your phone, on your laptop, wherever you are. You can be making adjustments real quick. So I would advise you use this. Like I said, change is already being made. Many schools are already adopting this. So if you're a teacher, you can start with your phone. and create your lesson plan online and have it, so that it's not when you lose your notes, you've lost all your effort. If you have your lesson plan on Google Docs or Microsoft Word saved on your device, then it cannot just vanish like that. So I think it's a very important thing to look into. The next application we have here is Jamboard. I love this a lot. It's like a digital whiteboard where students can work together. One thing about Jamboard I love is that people can be working at the same time, right? So it's this digital whiteboard where you can share the link with people and they can all go in and discuss, post, write their ideas and all of that. You can also achieve that with Google Docs. You can create a document that you make available to your class and share that link with your students so that everyone can contribute to a particular document or a particular discussion. It's a very good way to integrate technology in the classroom. So the next we have CapCut. CapCut is for creating digital exercises. So one thing I would always advise teachers is to start thinking of ways you can make your students use digital tools for academic purposes. Now, will your students use CapCut eventually in life? Probably. Maybe not CapCut, maybe some other video editor. But the point is, you want them to see how they can use digital editors and digital devices for academic purposes. That's the reason why I'm including things like CapCut, TikTok, Instagram. I'm sure you're surprised to see TikTok, Instagram on this slide, but I'm going to tell you the reason why it's here. So, like I said, our students are in a social media age. Every time they're using CapCut to create maybe TikTok videos, Instagram videos. They're using it for a lot. So if they can use it for TikTok and Instagram, then why not use it for academic exercises too? And remember when I said if they're not so used to this, they'll be so excited to use this when you bring it in as part of your teaching method and teaching tools. So by the time you give them an assignment and say something like, oh, create a video explaining the economic situation in your country, for example, they will bring different videos, put it together, cut, do transitions, make it beautiful. The point is they're seeing how they can use digital tools to push academic ideas. So why not leverage on that? Then the next is TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat. I remember in my master's program, we were discussing this one time, and someone suggested using the TikTok pedagogy in composition writing. And it was so surprising because how would you use TikTok for writing? But guess what? By the time it was brainstormed in class, really, it was going to be a very effective method. You know how I said that our students are on social media already. So let us bring academic into their social life. So if our students are spending time on TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and other social media platforms, then why not bring education into those platforms? And I'm going to tell you how. For example, you know how TikTok works with trends. Something is trending now, another thing is trending next time, one dance step, the other dance step. Or let's say there's a prank channel and people are doing pranks and all of that. Imagine giving them, let's say, an argumentative writing and telling them to discuss how true a particular prank is. Now, that's interesting, I promise you. Now, imagine going to a prank channel, bringing up a video, and you share it to your class. You're like, everybody go home, watch this prank video, and tell me if indeed this was a prank or a planned video. Give reasons for your answer. Now, it will look like a joke, but believe me, you're building critical thinking skills in the students. Some people would say yes, some people would say no. But guess what? In the process of saying yes or no, they're giving logic, they're giving credibility to whatever they are saying. They're giving you reasons why it's a yes or reasons why it's a no. And it's improving their critical thinking and their writing skills. Just think of that. Mind blowing, right? It's something I would always encourage people to use. Then the next one is AI, for example, ChatGPT. AI, we know how AI is a powerful tool in today's society. And also, sometimes I'll say a dangerous one because I see it as an attack on human intellectual property. But you know how the world is, the world does not wait for anyone. Like AI is here to stay, it's not going anywhere. So why not be ahead of the game? Instead of living in denial, we have to accept the fact that it's here and we find ways to use it in an intelligent way. And I say an intelligent way because people can easily get carried away with AI, like do all my work for me. No, 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 no. There's something I would always say, AI can bring in two major important parts of writing, but there's one it can never bring in fully. And I'm going to explain what I mean. You know how for every writing to be effective, there should be a strong effect and a reflection of ethos, pathos, logos. So logos has to deal with the logic, what are your statistics like, how logical is your statement, and all of that. We have ethos, which has to deal with credibility. What are the authorities speaking in this work? Then we have pathos, which deals with emotions. So AI can help with ethos and logos. It can give you all the quotes you need. It can give you all the statistics you need, but it can't bring in personal experiences. It can bring in the personal touch. And human beings connect more with personal experiences than just logic and logic. So, what I'm going to say is to take advantage of AI, you should probably use AI to say, get ideas. You can tell AI to create a lesson plan template. Then you fill that template with other materials like your books and all of that. You can tell AI to suggest an activity that will be fun for your classroom. Then when it gives that suggestion, you bring in your own personal intellectual property and brainstorm with what you've gotten from AI and give your students the best. So AI can help you, let's say, get resources, get ideas, but it shouldn't do the work for you, please. And I like the fact that in today's society, there are also AI detectors. So if you use AI for all your work, then it's going to be discovered. And that doesn't tell good on your work. So I'm just going to say you should use AI to get ideas, but don't depend on AI to do your work. Next, we have projectors. This is something I'll always advise every school to have. But if your school does not have a projector, then there are other ways you can still use technological tools. But if you do have a projector, that will be good because it helps you project your slides and all of that so students can view in a digital classroom. Students can see what you're teaching. Students can walk with you through the learning process and all of that. Next is podcast. Podcast is also very important because you can get information through podcast. I'm always going to advise teachers to explore educational podcasts and see what you can learn from that. YouTube channels can also help with learning more about your profession and what's in vogue in your profession. Then the next we have learning English podcast. I brought this specifically for teachers who still use, let's say, the British curriculum. For example, in Nigeria, we teach using the British English and we follow British English, let's say, phonetical rules. So if you're teaching phonetics in the classroom, then I'm going to advise you use you check out Learn English podcast because it helps you understand more about British English, British sounds. You know, there are differences between, let's say, British sounds, American sounds, and the rest of them. So if you have Learning the English podcast, it will help you not to get it wrong. You can see more, you can learn more about how to use British English correctly and teach your students correctly. This Learn English podcast is championed by British Council, and they have this other app I would also recommend. This app is called Sounds Right. Sounds Right. So Sounds Right is an app that helps you pronounce all 44 English sounds correctly using the British English. Like it gives you the British pronunciation of all the 44 English sounds. That way you're not confused at any point or getting it wrong. If you're confused about any sound, you can just hop on that app and see if you're getting it right. Then the next one we have Calendly, and I like Calendly because it helps you organize your schedule, and it also helps people, let's say, set up meetings with you, see your availability and see how they can set up virtual meetings with you. It's like a virtual planner. Just check it out. It's a very good app. Next, we have Google Forms, which can help you collect data at any point in time quickly and fast. Just share the link, people click on it, fill out the form, and you get all the data you need. Then finally, MP3 device. This is also a good one, especially for teachers in rural communities that may not have a language lab and all of that in their schools. If you have an MP3 device, you can use it to teach language classes, especially sounds and reading and all of that. So it's something you can use in situations where you don't have a proper sound system. So I think I've spent a lot of time talking about all of this, but did you learn a lot from this. I'm hoping that you're currently brainstorming the ones you can use effectively in your classroom. So let's move on to the next slide, group activity. So at this point, we had a group activity in the Zoom class. And what we did was to take these roles, I assigned them to different groups, and the prompt was for each group to examine the roles assigned to them and suggest at least 3 tech tools that can be used, that can be adopted to support that role. So for example, enhanced planning, you can suggest 3 tech tools that can be used for enhanced planning or for communication in the classroom or for resource management, whichever one was assigned to the group, they had to explore the tech tools that could be used for them. So since this is not a Zoom class and you're watching on YouTube, you can brainstorm. You can take your time to do that if you want to at this point. You can check out from the 21, I think 22 or 24 tools I listed in the previous slide. You can check out the ones that work. Let me be so sure first. Okay, yeah, 22. You can check out these 22 tools and see which of them can apply to these roles in education. So yeah, that was just a quick activity. Let's move on and I'll give you my own answer. So for enhanced planning, you use technology for more organized and efficient lesson planning. You know how I talked about creating your lesson, getting ideas with AI. You can use AI to get ideas for planning your lesson. You can use Google Docs to create your lesson plan, be writing your lesson plan at any point in time, wherever you are. You can use your phone, you can use your laptop. You can also create your lesson plan using MS Word if you're not using Google Docs. You can use MS Excel for planning in terms of having all your students on a spreadsheet, putting in their scores, things like that. Then the next one, we have Google Chrome, where you can get ideas, browse, get more resources, papers, articles, whatever you need, textbooks. So you don't need to be limited to what is provided to you by your school. You can also make research to get more materials. Next, social media apps. You can use social media apps to plan your classes. You remember when I talked about the TikTok pedagogy, right? Where you can give your students assignments and all of that. So when you're planning your class, you can check out assignments. You can check out different assignments you can give using social media apps and integrate it into your lesson plan. Then you can also have PowerPoints. If you're teaching in a digital classroom, PowerPoint is a very good way to, let's say, create slides, project them, and all of that. So action plan, go ahead and download ChatGPT. It's always one I recommend because that's the one I know of that is effective, and there are many more. Even on your WhatsApp, if you can't download this on your WhatsApp, we have Meta AI. Even on Google, the AI is everywhere. Well, on your WhatsApp, you can chat with your Meta AI, ask for ideas, it will chat with you. So the next is get a mobile version of Google Docs, MS Word, and Excel. And I always advise you get a mobile version because mobile versions would help you with flexibility. Just like I said, you can work at any point in time and it would update on your PC whenever you hop on your PC. Then the next one, utilize Google Chrome. Yeah, make researches. Next one, create academic exercises from social trends, which was what I just talked about, like TikTok, Instagram, and all of that. So create academic exercises from social trends that interest your students. So the next one is communication. And I would say improve communication with your students, parents, and colleagues using technological tools. So what are the tools that can help with communication? I have email, WhatsApp, Canvas, Google Meet, Zoom, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, Calendly, and Google Forms. So for emails, you remember when I said emails helps for, it gives off a more professional conversation, like send out information through emails, encourage people to check out their emails. So if you're not using email and you're a professional, what are you waiting for? You should start being used to your email address and checking it often, using it to communicate with colleagues and parents and whatever. Then the next one is WhatsApp. This is also a very powerful tool, and this is going to work for teachers who teach in schools where there's a very huge limit in terms of education. So if you're teaching in a rural community, WhatsApp is your go-to. At least I know everybody has WhatsApp. Everybody, almost everybody, let me not say everybody, but almost everybody has a smartphone. And if almost everybody has a smartphone, then WhatsApp would work. And don't get me wrong. For example, in Nigeria, not students don't just go around having phones in secondary schools. So I'm not expecting you to have a group on WhatsApp with your students. If your students don't have phones, their parents do have phones. So what I'm going to encourage you to do at this point is reach out to parents, to your students' parents, create a WhatsApp group that would bring all the parents of your students together where you can pass on information. If you need the students to work on something online using the parents' WhatsApp app, you can go ahead and tell the parents ahead of time that, oh, I have this activity. Can you, it will take about, let's say, 30 minutes. Can you allow your child to use your phone for this? Things like that. But I'm just trying to say that WhatsApp is the most basic thing you should have and you should use. And I'm going to explain how you can make it easy. Like when I say create a group on WhatsApp, I don't mean you should start saving up all the parents' numbers and adding them to a group. That's a lot of task for you as a teacher. But what you can do is give an assignment. Write out your WhatsApp number, give it to your students, and give them an assignment. Tell them to take it home to their parents and tell their parents to chat this number. It's your teacher's number. They should just say hello and introduce themselves with the name of their child. So imagine being at home, you get a message from a child's parents. Hi, I'm Machi's parent, and she told me to chat you up. Immediately, you go ahead and return the pleasantry. Hello, okay, I'm going to send you a link. Click on that link and you join a group. It is that simple. You don't need to do the work. You just give them your number. They take it home. The parents will chat you up. And once they chat you up, you send them a link to a group and they all join that group. So you can, let's assume you teach 3 classes, JSS3, JSS1, SS3. You can have a group, JSS1 parents forum, JSS3 parents forum, SS1 parents forum. And once you create that group and they join, you start communicating and passing on information through that platform. Why not take advantage of this? There is no excuse in this day and age to not improve a lot using technology, and communication is way easier. Today, you don't have to spend on airtime and all of that. All you need to do is have data, and I think it's worth it. So the next one is Canvas. This one might be a little bit tasking for teachers to achieve on their own. It's mostly something that an institution would provide for teachers. But like I said, there is a free version for teachers. You just need to have an institution and put it in when you're getting registered for the free version. Then you'd have tools you can explore. But there are limits to what you can explore on the unpaid version, the free version. So but I think it's still worth it because Canvas is good. Then we have Google Meet, Zoom, Google Classroom. All these tools are where you can have Google Meet and Zoom. You can have, let's say, meetings with parents. You can just fix a webinar with parents or a Zoom meeting with parents for each of your classrooms. Discuss issues with them if you want to. You can also have a meeting with a particular parent that you want to discuss with regarding their child's success. And you know how in our previous class we talked about different students with their different challenges. For example, I remember this particular student we talked about, Kaima, the kid who cares less. And while exploring Kaima, we talked about how she might have challenges from home and we need to find that out. So if you have Kaima's mom or dad's number and Kaima's parents are on your WhatsApp group, it's so easy to reach out to them and set up a Zoom meeting with them and discuss Kaima's case. Do you see how easy that is? One thing about parents is that they'll be so happy to see that their children's teachers are making effort to see that they liaise with parents to help the child. So they would put in the effort they need to put in to see that their child gets the best. So you should start first. Don't give excuses. Start. Then the next one is Microsoft Teams. You can use it to have meetings as well. You have Calendly. Now, this is what you can use to, like I said, broadcast your availability so that parents who want to reach out to you, have a meeting with you, or have any concerns and all can set up a meeting with you. And one good thing about this is if you set up, let's say 21st, 22nd, and 23rd as your available dates, anybody that sees that time can go ahead and book a meeting with you. And once a time is booked, another person cannot book that time. They would see that your availability has dropped from 3 days to 2 days. So whenever your availability is filled for the month, no one can go ahead to make appointments with you until you have another availability. So it gives you flexibility. It gives you the chance to control how often you have meetings with parents. So it helps you take charge of your time. And I think it makes a lot of sense. So the next we have Google Forms. With Google Forms, you can get information, you can get data from parents. Just like you have that WhatsApp group, you can send a Google form out so that parents can fill out on, let's say, how do you think your child is doing so far? Would you say they've been doing the assignments? Have you been observing this? You just send a Google form and they'll fill it up and you get all the data you need. That's really good. So action plan here, create an email, create a WhatsApp group, subscribe to Canvas for you can create a personal account, organize meeting with parents on Zoom, give assignments that will require students to work together digitally from afar. So let's go over to resource management. So for resource management, you can efficiently manage and assess teaching materials using technology. So what are the tools you would need? And when we say manage and assess teaching materials, for example, instructional materials, teaching resources, things like that. What are the tools you need in terms of teaching materials? We have Google Docs. At this point, I believe you know how you can use this. Then Canva, you can create lots of designs, instructional materials. Like imagine teaching, let's say, farming, and you create an AI generated image that describes people in a farm, or you're teaching nuclear and extended family, and you create an AI generated image that shows a nuclear family and an extended family. You know how AI these days makes beautiful images, and children love beautiful things. So if you use Canva to create an image or any other AI image generation tool, even on WhatsApp, you have your Meta AI. It helps you create digital images. Then you go ahead and print it out and bring it to class. How exciting would it be? So Canva would work a lot. It will work a lot for resource management. You have your notes. You can go ahead and manage your classes, discuss how you want to do things, your activities, and all on your notes. Just quick ideas go in here. Then your flash drive. This is what you use to copy the documents you've worked on and go print them out if you don't have a colored printer or you don't have a printer at home. AI, I've talked about how AI can help you generate images and do a lot more. So you can use this. The next one we have PowerPoint. It can help you also manage resources and let's say project what you have. So if you have a PowerPoint, you might not necessarily need to print all these out. You can just project the image you have. So the next one we have is the MP3 device, and this is also good for resource management. It can serve as an instructional material because with the MP3 device, students can hear sounds. It can substitute for a language lab. I know it cannot replace a language lab, but it can help. Instead of sounding like making those sounds orally with the students as always. You can always use an MP3 device so that they can hear from native speakers as well. Something like that. It just makes learning fun. So action plan by a flash drive, create files on your computer, start using Notes app on your phone, use Canva to generate tons of instructional materials and save them. Remember, Canva is not limited to just images. You can create flyers, images, presentations, a lot. Whatever PowerPoint can do, Canva can do. I want to say and even more, but I'm going to hold that back. So use MP3 to play sounds and substitute for your language lab. So what's the next thing we have? Effective lesson delivery. For this one, technology can help you appeal to audio and visual learners while making lessons fun. I should have included MP3 here as well. Anyway, for the tools we have here, we have Canva, Jamboard. Jamboard is the platform where I said students can communicate. We have Google Groups. You know how I talked about collaboration in the previous class, like grouping students and giving them tasks? You can put them in a digital group, like where they can discuss, work together, share documents, and Google has an application that helps with that. You can also use WhatsApp groups as well to make it less complicated in case they don't understand. Then there is Zoom. You can use Zoom to deliver on lessons from a distance just in case you need to do that. Then there's Google Meet, there's CapCut, there's social media platforms and trends, Flash Drive. You know, remember, we're talking about effective lesson delivery. So if you give them assignments with social trends, it will help with the delivery of your lesson in a better way. From the comfort of their homes, they're learning. They think they're watching social media, but they're learning as well. So we also have Flash Drive that helps you to print resources. So there are lots of repetitions because the previous thing we talked about with this, there's an overlap in some of the ideas here. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time here, but I think I've explained how you can make use of these tools and the action plan. give group activities to students and allow them leverage an online supervised platform. I'm specific about supervised platform. So if you're creating a group for students, let's say you're creating a WhatsApp group where you're going to put in your, let's say group A has a WhatsApp group, group B has a WhatsApp group, whether they're using their phones or their parents' phones. The point is, whatever group you create for them, you should be part of the group as well as an admin so that you can monitor what they're doing, because children can be easily carried away. They might turn the group into something else if you're not there, especially when they're using their personal phones. So I'm going to suggest you be a part of any group you create for your classroom. Then make lessons fun by giving intellectual stimulating tasks using social trends. I've talked about that a lot. Then give assignments that would help them learn how to use digital tools like CapCut, Canva, etc. So what we have next, professional development. This is the part I will always encourage teachers to pay attention to. Ensure continuous personal and professional growth through professional development. And technology can help you achieve this using tools like podcasts, YouTube, attending webinars, using Google search engine, using AI. You can help yourself understand. You can ask AI, what's the current trend in my profession? You can search on Google, what are the things teachers are doing in the 21st century? What are the effective teaching methods in 2024? Things like that, like make research to update yourself with current trends. That way you get better. And if you're watching this video, that's a very good way. You're doing professional development already, because this is a professional development session that would help you get more knowledge about technology in the classroom. So you're doing a great job by watching this video already. You're on YouTube and you're learning. For those who attended my Zoom class, you've also leveraged on a professional development class that helps you learn alongside your colleagues. So professional development is very important. It helps you do better in your profession. It helps you keep up with the trend in your profession. You're not just using outdated methods. Like, you need to get better in anything you're doing. And I like this statement: anything worth doing is worth doing well. So if you're going to teach, then put in your best to see that you deliver excellently in that profession. So for the action plan, I'm going to say listen to podcasts about new trends in your profession, watch YouTube videos to learn what's new and identify solutions to some challenges you face in your profession, attend free webinars, and if you can subscribe to paid courses, that would be great. Then the next one is use the digital tools discussed in this course today. So I'm prompting you to please use at least one digital tool I've discussed today. All right, let's move on now. This is another slide that I would say is my favorite: the basic tools for teachers in rural areas and how to leverage on them. So are you teaching in a rural area or a rural community or a school where there are no computer labs? The students don't even have computers at home. Even the teacher probably does not have a computer. So how then are you expecting me to use these digital tools when I don't even have a personal laptop? We lack electricity in my school. We don't have computer labs. The students don't use technology. So how do you expect me to use technology? How do you expect me to improve my teaching using technology? Well, look at them here. So the first, we have WhatsApp. If you don't have a PC, you at least have a smartphone. No matter the grade of the smartphone you have, it is a smartphone. And one good thing about smartphones is that they support WhatsApp. So if you have a smartphone, there is a high chance you have a WhatsApp app. And guess what? Even our parents, they are on WhatsApp these days. It's not like before when they used to be confused, because every time they're forwarding one message or the other. So everybody is on WhatsApp. At least the most basic thing is WhatsApp. So remember how I said you can go ahead and give your students an assignment with your WhatsApp number. Just tell them to take it to their parents and tell the parents to chat you up so that you can go ahead and add them to a group. So what you're going to do at this point is, if it's possible, you can add a score to this activity, because instead of students wasting your time and delaying, oh, I forgot to give my parents, I forgot to just tell them, whoever does this gets 3 points. And you really, really give them 3 points. So you make it an assignment for them to take your number home to their parents and push their parents to chat you up. The moment they chat you up with their names, you send them a link to a WhatsApp platform. You don't even need to do the adding yourself. Just forward the link to them. They click on the link and they join the WhatsApp group. And that way you can kick off communication from there. You know, one good thing about teaching is if you collaborate with parents, you will get the best out of the students. So with WhatsApp, you would have the basic collaboration you need with parents. So the next one is MP3 device. An MP3 device, even though there is, let's say, no electricity in your school, you can charge this at home. It's a Bluetooth device. You can charge this and bring it to class and play sounds and play things that would help your students. I remember one time I taught a class and I was teaching figures of speech, and there was this cute song about hyperbole I played in class just to emphasize on the pronunciation, not hyperbole, but hyperbole. And the song was so cute. It went hyperbole, hyperbole. Yeah. And it's I can't sing it here now, but it just went ahead to create a song with the meaning of hyperbole, the pronunciation of hyperbole. And that day, my class was so fun. The kids were singing along. It was a short song. It was really, really fun. So an MP3 device can help you achieve that. Then the next one is Canva. Canva is also compatible with many phones. So if you have a phone, then you can have a Canva app. And if you have a Canva app, you can create tons and tons of designs like this slide I have today, like the flyers. All the flyers I've shared on my social media platforms for my classes, I created them myself using Canva. Part of what I've used Canva to do is also create like designs. Let's say my YouTube intro video, I created it with Canva and CapCut. Those were the only tools I used for my intro video on YouTube, and it was really, really great. So I'm just trying to let you know that there's a lot you can achieve with Canva, and Canva has tons and tons of tools. In fact, I love, love, love that app. Then the next one is email. Emails are things you can access through your phone. So if you have an email account, then go ahead and communicate with parents through emails, communicate with colleagues through emails, and all of that. So the next one is your flash drive. I think I've talked about flash drive enough too. So it's something you need. You don't need your school to have electricity or have a computer lab and all of that for you to own a flash drive. With a flash drive, you can print in, say, cyber cafes, you can print out instructional materials. And I understand at this point you'd be like, but it takes, I have to spend to print. And imagine printing for an entire class. So at this point, I'm also going to talk about why grouping is very important, right? So you know how I talked about creating groups in our previous class, I said a lot about collaboration in teaching. So if you have, let's say, 10 groups or 5 groups in your class, let's say you have 60 students in large classrooms, or you have even less, and let's say you have 5 groups or 10 groups in your class, instead of printing an instructional material for every single student, you can print, let's say, one for each group or two. So instead of printing 60 instructional materials, you can be printing 10 or 20, and you share it, and they're able to manage what they have and work together. But believe me, it makes a lot more difference than having nothing at all or using the normal method you've been using. So any change is good change. It's just a step in the right direction. So the next we have YouTube's where you learn more. And YouTube is just where you get all the information you need. So whether you're teaching in a digital classroom or not, you can leverage YouTube and learn more. Like with your phone, you can watch different YouTube videos, educate yourself. You can send a link to the WhatsApp group where parents are. You can send a link to a video you probably want your students to watch that would help with your class, and they would give it to their children and they would watch it. It's not going to be a big deal. It could be a 30 minutes video, it could be less. You just let the parents know that, okay, this is the time for this particular activity to be concluded, and they would, I'm sure they would make adjustments to make sure that the children learn. So the next is Google search engine where you can make inquiries for tools that would help you. These are things you have on your phone. You don't need to use your laptop to search up things on Google. Then the next one is AI. You can download AI tools. I told you how AI is on WhatsApp. You can download ChatGPT. You can download any other AI tool, but AI is no more such a big thing to access anymore. It's everywhere. So action plan, create a WhatsApp group. Next one, create a free Canva account. I've talked about this. Print by sending an email or using a flash drive that is print your resources, listen to podcasts. and the rest of them watch YouTube videos, attend webinars, and all of that. So, what's next? Let's talk about the benefits of technology for teachers. So, technology allows teachers to be more flexible. With everything I've talked about, you see how flexible your teaching process can be. So, if you're a teacher, technology would help you achieve flexibility. It can help you communicate with parents better, give out activities that would make teaching fun and flexible. So it's really good. Then the next one is it further helps teachers to connect better with their students. I think I love this part because it sure helps you connect better with your students, both within the classroom and outside the classroom through groups, WhatsApp groups, Google meetings, online groups where you're also an admin, and all of that. It helps you connect with your students beyond the classroom. Then finally, it unblocks access to more resources for effective teaching and learning. I love that part. So with technology, you have unlimited access to information, to resources, to learning. I think it's really, really great. So for teachers, technology is a huge plus. So you should start taking advantage of it. Then let's see the benefit of technology for students. So it allows for more personalized learning experience. So instead of just learning when you're in the classroom, you can learn even when you're on social media, you can learn from home, you can learn at any point in time. So it makes you tailor your learning experiences in a way that suits you very well. It improves student communication. With technology, students can communicate better. You remember when I said you can have a WhatsApp group where your students can chat, do assignments, and all of that? That's a very good way of creating communication and social connections among your students. So, the last one, it helps students prepare for the future. And what's that future? Distance and online learning, as well as hybrid learning, is becoming a thing in the future. You know how the COVID-19 opened our eyes to the deficiencies in the educational system in most countries. I would say that it has made us understand what technology can do for us and how we can start learning ways to leverage technology and prepare our students for what is coming in the future. Today we have full-time online classes, we have distant learning, we have hybrid learning where you can be in class sometimes, log in sometimes. So if your students don't know these, they can't even use the basic technologies available to them, then how would they achieve things like full-time online learning when the opportunity presents itself, or when the need rather presents itself? Because sometimes you do online learning not by choice, but as a necessity, like it was during COVID-19. Many schools could not keep up with their academic activities because they weren't using technological tools. And when the pandemic hit, it affected the learning process in many schools because they weren't prepared. So now we've seen what would happen if we aren't prepared. Why don't we start taking advantage of this now? And that doesn't mean we're expecting something to hit and all of that, but it's better to be 3 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead if possible. So let's summarize. What is the future of learning? Distance learning technologies are vital to education today and will likely remain important as schools plan for the future. Schools often use a mix of online and in person learning, making digital education available to everyone. For example, the current online nursing program. Yeah, one of the things I noticed of recent is the fact that almost all schools offering masters in nursing in the US are doing it online. Like it's a full-time online course. And I know years back, people would not imagine that a course like nursing is going to go fully online. Like, are you not supposed to explore hands-on learning tools and all of that because you're dealing with human beings, right? But then it's the master's program that is mostly online. And I think since you've learned the basics, maybe you can do others from a distance. The point is, the things we thought were impossible are actually possible, and people are using it. People are putting it into good use. So why not get yourself ready? Because distant learning technologies are becoming a thing. They're becoming very popular. People now learn in various ways. Sometimes you don't get to see your students at all. Sometimes you see them, but you don't get to see them physically. You see them on Zoom. Sometimes you don't even get to have a Zoom class with them. You just send them materials and learn through online learning platforms like Canvas. So why not? Why not start now to learn and see ways you can integrate technology into your teaching process and the academic system in your country. So I will repeat again, if we really want change in our societies, then we need to be the change we want to see. If you want technology to be a thing, then we need to start implementing it the ways we can. You can start from just the WhatsApp group. Just one step you would take today would improve the learning experience for your students. And believe me, the excitement on their faces when they see something for a change, it's enough motivation for you to push on. So I'm going to encourage you to prepare your students for the future, because we've come so far. The gap is becoming wide between countries that are underdeveloped or developing countries and fully developed countries. So we need to catch up. We need to get our students ready for the future. These students, they're going to fly. They have places to be in the future. They have things to explore in the future. We don't want to limit them. We need to get them prepared. We don't want to make it tougher for them to adjust to the larger society. So let us do our part as teachers. Let's make sure we prepare the students the best way we can. And our effort will be rewarded eventually. And the reward might not really come from the government, might not be monetary, but the satisfaction that comes with it. The fact that in the future you see a student that says, you made learning an experience for me, a good experience for me, I think it's enough motivation. And it could come in other ways too. So you never know. Just do what you need to do as a teacher. So at this point, we are at the question time. For the questions, I'm going to say you can go ahead and drop whatever questions you have in the comment section, and I'll do well to respond to each and every one of your questions. I'm also going to refer you to how you can get resources for this class and get yourself prepared. See tutorials and different ways you can implement everything we've learned today. So I'm going to say, let's work together. How can we work together? You can send me an email with any questions you may have or any ideas you may have. You can also visit my website to see the resources for this class and other resources I have, and my services, the services I have to offer. I have paid services, I have free services. So go ahead and see what you can gain from there. Then for my YouTube channel, this is my YouTube channel, Grow with Mavis. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed, why haven't you subscribed to this point? Please go ahead and click on the subscribe button. The resources I have for this class range from tutorial videos on the different apps I talked about. I have also documents you can read up to help you, different YouTube videos that can guide you through the process on how to achieve what we just talked about today. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact us, reach out to me through my email address, and I would attend to them. All right. I hope you had a very good experience with me today. I hope you learned a lot. If you did, please go ahead, like this video and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.